So we have talked about invoices and the calendar, the discount and credit periods. To this point, however, we've only talked about paying off the invoice fully. So let's take a minute to talk about partial payments on an invoice. So what if a full balance isn't paid? Remember, we have this timeline. This is our invoice date right here. And at some point, 5 days, 10 days into the future, we might have the end of a credit or of a discount period. And further in the future, at some point, we have the end of a credit period. That end of the credit period, that is the time that at that point they have to have their bill paid in full or they start getting charged penalties. For this section, it's this end of this discount period that's important. If they pay between the invoice date and the end of that discount period, they get a certain cash discount, which is a percentage of the bill. Well, what if they can't pay the bill in full? Well, they can still pay what they can during that discount period, and then the rest can be paid before the end of the credit period, and they'll still get some of the discount for that partial payment. So let's take a look at this. Let's say that we have an invoice that is $2,400 with a 2%, let's say it's a 210 net 30, and the buyer is going to pay $1,500 during the discount period. So we want to know, what is the balance due? That balance due, of course, that's the balance that still has to be paid before the end of that credit period. So the 210 here means that it's a 2% discount in the 10 days, and we're assuming that $1,500 is paid during that first 10 days. So the key here is really figuring out how much, what is the credit applied to that account. To that balance, in other words. And remember, 2% discount, we use the complement of that. That would be 98%, so 0.98. The amount paid is $1,500. Now before, what we did was we took the balance, the amount of the credit, and we calculated the amount that needed to be paid. Now we're going backwards. We're going to be paying $1,500. We want to go back to figure out what is the amount credited. So when we had the credit, we multiplied by that complement of the discount. When we have the payment, we're going to divide by it. So we're going to take 1,500 divided by 0.98. $1,530.61. So $1,530.61 is the credit that is applied to that account. So that means the balance due on that $2,400 invoice is $2,400 minus the $1,530.61. Which gives us $869.39 is the balance that's outstanding. So you can think of it as the balance due, or sometimes referred to as the outstanding balance. So that's the balance that still needs to be paid before the end of that credit period. So let's put this together in an example. So I have an invoice that is dated March 21st, an amount $1,900, terms, let's go 210, 115, net 30. Now I added in a little something here. There are 2 discount periods here. Seller prepays $200 in freight. So that has to be reimbursed. Buyer makes an $800 partial payment on March 29th. Find that outstanding balance. So we have the $800 payment. Now we need to find what the discount is. Our timeline is a little bit different here on this one. We start on March 21st. We don't have any modifiers, so we start on the invoice date. The 210 means if we go 10 days, that's March 31st, there's a 2% discount. Well, beyond that, the days are always from the invoice date, so the 115 is going to April 4th. Between March 31st, after the 2% discount is expired, and April 4th, you can still get a 1% discount if you still pay in that window. Then, of course, we're going to April 20th for the net 30, the end of the credit period. So this partial payment is made on the 29th. It gets the 2% discount. However, we're not going to just take that 800 and divide by 0.98 like we did in the previous example, because this example has freight in it. Freight is always paid first because it's reimbursing an actual expense. The expenses are reimbursed before the invoice is started to get paid down. So we take that $800 payment, and the first thing we do is we subtract the $200 in freight. So that leaves us with $600 that's going to be applied to the invoice. So then that $600 is going to be adjusted by the discount. Discount of 2%, so the complement is 98 or 0.98. We divide by 0.98. Giving us $612.24. So $612.24 is applied towards this invoice after the freight is paid. The invoice was for $1,900. So the outstanding balance is $1,900 minus the $612.24. Which is going to give us $1,287.76 is that outstanding balance. It's the balance due by the end of the credit period. So that is a summary of partial payments.